PK here. Recently I watched an episode of the 8-Bit Eric Show where he did his top 10 rarest NES games based on his NES Collector app. And then I thought to myself, I have an NES Collector app. So I decided to do a video of my top 9 rarest NES games. The NES Collector's app, created by puregaming.org, uses a scale of 1 to 12 to rate how rare a game is. Every game on this list has a score of 9 or higher. So why am I doing a top 9, you might ask? If I had tried to do a top 10, I would have had a 14-way tie for 10th, unfortunately. I have 14 games that rate as 8 out of 12 or higher. Here's a picture of those 14 games that were so close but did not make the cut. There's a huge difference between rare and valuable. For example, Contra is rated a 3 out of 12 in rarity, but it's worth almost $40, while Donkey Kong 3 is a 7 out of 12, but it's only worth $25. Some games are more in demand than others, but doesn't necessarily mean they're rare. Like, for example, a good example, City Connection is an 8 out of 12, but it's like a $3 or $5 game. So those are the kind of games, if you're looking for a ground floor rare game that isn't worth much right now but could be worth something in the future, those are the ones to pick up. Without further ado, here are my top 9 most rare NES games.
Nintendo.
The Simpsons Bart Meets Radioactive Man. Back in the 1990s, The Simpsons were incredibly popular. They were a cultural phenomenon. There were, in total, 4 Simpsons NES games. This one was the most rare and uncommon. That's about all I can really say about it. It's a Simpsons game and plays like a Simpsons game. If you've ever played a Simpsons game, you'll know what I'm talking about. North and South. I actually remember playing this game as a kid, and it was a lot of fun. It's basically a Civil War game, and it requires a lot of action and strategy in winning. Rue from the Clan of the Grey Wolf on YouTube actually did a really awesome video of this particular game. I believe it's called it's an 8-Bit Gems, as I recall, so definitely check out his video of that. It's actually really good. I couldn't begin to do justice to this the way he has. Incredible. Bases Loaded 4. When I was a kid, baseball was my favorite sport by far. I loved playing the Bases Loaded games. I had the first 3, in fact. I didn't even know there was a 4th one until about a couple years ago. When I found out, I had to get it. You know, I mean, for personal reasons. I didn't know that it was actually kind of uncommon, really. In fact, it's worth about $18 nowadays, which, you know, right now it's kind of one of those far less common baseball games, you know, because it came out towards the end of the NES's lifespan. And what can I say? It plays like a Bases Loaded game, or like any baseball game, frankly, for the NES. Tetris, the Soviet mind game, aka Tengen Tetris. This, my friends, is the definitive version of Tetris. It was built from the ground up. It has 2-player versus mode, 2-player co-op mode, 1-player and computer co-op mode. This game was the best version of Tetris on the NES, or maybe ever. Tengen Tetris was recalled when Nintendo got the official license to make Tetris. Atari had to pull Tengen Tetris from the shelves. Honestly, I don't really like the licensed version of Tetris for the NES. The Game Boy version is actually pretty good. The licensed Tetris for NES is junk. Tengen Tetris is by far better in just about every way. Only about 100,000 copies of Tengen Tetris made it off the shelves, which is why this game is not as common as its inferior licensed version. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. I actually talked about this in episode 4, so if you want to know what I think about it, check out episode 4. The Miracle Piano Teaching System for NES. This game is worth probably... The game by itself is probably only worth about $12. But if you have all the books that come with it, and if you have the keyboard that comes with it, it's closer to worth about $50 to $100. This was very unique for its time. It was like the Guitar Hero of its day, except the keyboard actually works. You actually literally could learn how to play piano with this, which made it so unique. It's actually more like Rocksmith than it really is Guitar Hero of its day. The Angry Video Game Nerd actually did a video on NES accessories and actually showed gameplay of using the Miracle Piano. It was actually very interesting, and that's how I first initially learned about Miracle Piano, so definitely check his video out as well. That's actually a really good one. Yes, that is the Miracle Piano Teaching System. Felix the Cat. This is an awesome side-scrolling game. There's a lot of really cool power-ups. It's easy to pick up and play, and it's not super difficult either. I mean, anybody could potentially beat this. This is a game I have indeed played all the way through and beat, and it's worth the play. It's definitely worth a look, and so go check that out for sure. Felix the Cat. My two rarest games both have one thing in common, and that's that they're both NES black box games. The first one, Donkey Kong Jr. Math. Donkey Kong Jr. Math, it's one of those games, it's great to own it, but not a lot of people sit around and play it, because basically this was Nintendo's first educational game, and what can I say about it? It's an overpriced calculator game, in a nutshell. And my number one most rare game is Stack Up. This was one of the two Rob the Robot games. The other one was Gyromite, which actually has a different name. I don't know, it's so confusing with the black box games, especially the Rob the Robot games have weird, like, they'll have like they'll have one name on the cartridge, and then they'll have another name when you actually load up the screen, and you're just like, whoa, this is weird. Stack Up and Donkey Kong Jr. Math are the most rare black box game as far as the original 30 black box NES games go. Ironically, Stack Up and DK Jr. are probably the two least fun games in the entire series of that. Well, there you have it, folks. My top 9 most rare NES games. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep on collecting, and most importantly, keep on gaming.